So you say after me, I, Prince Adewole Adebayo.
I, Prince Adewole Adebayo.
I promise to say the truth.
I promise to say the truth as usual.
And nothing but the truth.
And nothing but the truth as usual.
I will speak my truth.
I'll speak my truth as usual.
Thank you. It's another political storm rocking the political space in Nigeria. And this time around, as the Social Democratic Party, crises here and there, allegations of corruption, and of course, in terms of how the party leadership is being run. One can actually say probably is the alternative to the All Progressive Congress in 2027, but something rocked their boats, and this time around, it hit so badly. Suspensions here and there, expulsion here and there from the different factions in the party. You have the factions of former chairman. Some say he's former chairman. Some say he's the incumbent chairman, Shehu Gabam, being suspended by the forum of the chairman in the SDP. And of course, the former chairman, and some say is the current chairman, Shehu Gabam, says is also suspended and expel some of the party leadership. Most especially, one very intriguing one is his presidential candidate of the party in 2023, and the person of Prince Adewole Adebayo. He's here with me in the studio to speak his truth, as many people know him as one who is polished in his policy. I say he's not the street type, the normal, conventional politician that you find on a normal day. Please join me as I welcome Prince Adewole Adebayo.
Thank you very much, Lawrence.
Thank you.
Good to be here, and God bless Nigeria.
Okay, let's just go straight to it. I want to first ask you, before we dive into the crisis of your party, there have been many insinuations of how the political party structure is being seen in Nigeria, most especially the issue of godfatherism, the issue of how party is supposed to be. But we don't get to see all of that. Juxtapose that with what you have in Social Democratic Party.
Okay, it's going to be a rich program because your introduction is rich. It says, say your truth, but your introduction is a lie.
Okay.
One, there's no faction. Gabam is not leading a faction. Gabam is there. Sheikh Musa Gabam is a highly disciplined person. So Gabam is not leading a faction. Gabam was elected at International Conference Center June 8, 2022 as national chairman of the party. Before him, Dr. Olu Agunloye was national chairman. Then because of zoning, the position was swapped because the presidency was zoned to the south and the chairmanship was zoned to the north. So national chairman, Dr. Olu Agunloye, former pioneer head of road safety, former minister of Power, former Minister of Defense, was now asked to become National Secretary, and Agunloye became Gabam became National Chairman. Before Agunloye, former Minister of Education and former Ambassador to Germany, Professor Tunde Adeniro, was the National Chairman. And before him was Chief Oluyemi Falaye Obalu. He was now a king in Akure, former Minister of Finance and former Secretary to the Government of the Federation. So that is our leadership succession so far. There's no controversy about that. Of course, in the earlier part, the first iteration, you had Baba Gana Kingibe and Co during the military time. So there's no leadership controversy. What has happened, people talk of crisis. This is crisis of reportage, crisis of media having poor manpower, or poor orientation, or no commitment to find out. Because ideally, the media should not be asking a politician what's happening in your party. They are supposed to know what's happening in the party through investigation and proper reportage, and then question you on what they have found out. But they don't do that now. So what has happened is that we had a convention. Gabam is the leader of the party, national chairman. But in the course of running the party, within his own national working committee, there are 15 national working committee positions in the party constitution. Within that, the national secretary, I think Gabam himself said the story on TVC, Arise, other places. And I'm sure you can still call him to give you more details if he wants to. The national secretary wrote to the police that, because it's a signature to the account, and he wrote to the police that the account is not properly run, some monies are missing. And these monies, he wrote on all of the details. And that petition went. That went externally. Then internally, the National Working Committee met and said, okay, they will suspend those who are involved or mentioned, and they will do an investigation. And Air Vice Marshal Sadiq Abubakar Liman, member of National Institute, MNI, was made the chairman. And the state chairman nominated a Ebonyi state chairman to represent them. The women nominated somebody, they had lawyers, they had everything. And they asked every member of the National Working Committee to go and report there. They started from national chairman to deputy chairman, the two of them, to national secretary, to treasurer, to financial secretary, to auditor, youth leader, everything down the line, to question all members of the National Working Committee. How much have you received from the party? What happened to party money? If money was given to you before, retire the money, all sorts of things. They went through all of that process. Of course, some did not come because they said they had problems with the composition and therefore they will not participate in it. They had objection to it. But none of them went to court to stop it from holding. When it took place, they concluded, I think they sat for 3 weeks in the secretariat, sitting day and night, day to day, for 3 weeks. They compiled their report and submitted openly to the National Working Committee. It was received in front of the media. And the National Working Committee sat on that report, then set up some of the people who were indicted in that report, petitioned to the NWC that they were not properly treated, one of the issues. They set up another committee again, and they published a white paper. And they started implementing the white paper. And the national auditor, who was asked to resign, tendered his resignation and apology and resigned. One other officer who said he left the proceeding because particular persons in that committee did not treat him fairly. When he made the case, they set up another committee for him to go and appear. And even the national secretary, Oluwagunloye, was to be sanctioned by that committee. That report is in the white paper. So almost every one of the, half of them maybe, who had not much to say were allowed to go, but many of them who had something to do with money, one criticism of them or the other, one censure of them or the other, it doesn't affect anybody else. It doesn't affect anybody who is not a member of the National Working Committee because it's an internal process of the National Working Committee. It doesn't affect state chairmen, it doesn't affect ordinary members, it doesn't affect anybody. So where is the crisis? This is just a normal thing that must be done in a party. And when I was reading the white paper, I saw, okay, what did the national auditor do? They wrote there that it was an audited account was submitted to INEC, which he signed as the auditor. They asked him how he arrived at that report, compare it with the financial records. On record, he said, actually, he didn't read the report.
That's the national auditor?
Yes, but he signed it, but he didn't do the report.
Okay.
On that basis, they said, okay, is that your duty? Are you doing your duty? And he said, I'm sorry, but I'm just telling you what happened. So I'm not feeling too fine or something happened to me. I was just called that this thing is due to be submitted, and I went to submit it. They said, okay, on that basis. So he went and resigned, honorably. So now, with respect to Shehu Gabam, he has a right to say, I am not guilty, I don't accept the indictment, I don't accept this constitutional right. A political party is a democratic space. Even when you take somebody to court after a thorough police, EFCC, whatever investigation, when they read the charge to them in court, they are presumed to be innocent. They will say, I'm not guilty. Even when you go through the trial and you convict them, they will still say, I don't accept, they'll go on appeal. So that does not make a crisis. Because this is how things should work. A crisis is when things don't work the way they should work. But I don't know how many you are in this organization, but immediately you are up to 12. Start investigating yourselves. Because somebody you ask to go and buy a camera may inflate the price. Somebody you ask to go and pay transport may inflate the price. Somebody you give money to go and cover an event somewhere may not retire properly. Any organization that does not look inwards to take care of its processes to see that the resources made available to them to manage on behalf of the collective is properly managed, that political party or any organization is going to die. And if you're talking about crisis, what is the crisis? We were in 2023, we ran for election. I contested against Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who is now our president. APC was said to have won that election. They formed the government. But at that time, when we were campaigning, Shehu Gabam was with me as the national chairman. Abdullahi Adamu and Omishori were with Tinubu. They didn't finish their tenure. Abdullahi Adamu was asked to go. Omishori was asked to go. After that, they brought Ganduje and Bashir, Senator Bashir. Ganduje has resigned now and left. They have Natanwe. So they have had 3 leaderships. We are just having one change. So who has crisis? So that's the way I see it. So I cannot say to you that Shehu Gabam is breaching any law. He's not breaching any law. He says, I don't accept the outcome. It's now left to him what he wants to do, whether he's just saying it or whether he can change his mind tomorrow and say, okay, I accept and I'm going.
Okay, so why I ask the question is because, I've been attending both press conferences.
Where?
That of the one at the national headquarters.
Yes.
Yeah. So where they spoke about the fact that Shehu Gabam is now being expelled. So if you are saying that he has a right to, he hasn't broken any law, that means he has the right to defend himself.
Yeah, he hasn't broken any law by defending himself. Because there's a constitutional guarantee against self-incrimination.
Okay, so, but the last time he was on TV, he said he has not even been invited yet. If he has not been invited yet, how come the National Working Committee come to a conclusion that he should be expelled? Because you now spoke at
in what forum did he say that? In what station did Shehu Gabam say he wasn't invited?
He said, I think it was on TVC.
Okay, TVC should call the people who said they invited him.
No, when he said he hasn't been invited by the police. He hasn't been invited by the police to come and answer exactly what he was.
Then you call the police. You see, we don't know.
You know why I'm bringing that up?
Yes.
It's because you said he has the right to defend himself. If he has the right to defend himself, and I think the National Working Committee has not, did you think, okay, let me put it there. Do you think that they took a decision in a haste to actually expel him? Because I was at that conference where they said he has now been expelled.
Did you ask them the question you're asking me now?
Of course I did.
And what was the answer?
They said it is at the prerogative of the after making all the findings from the investigation,
yes,
and they came to this conclusion.
Yes.
Do you understand that's why they expelled him? So I'm only coming from the fact that what you said,
yes,
and what he said by saying he hasn't even been invited by the police.
What I'm saying is that today we are doing triangulation here.
Yes.
We are doing Shehu Musa Gabam.
Yeah.
We are doing the NWC who expelled him. We are doing police.
Yes.
I don't know police.
Okay.
I don't work there. I have nothing to do with them. I don't know what happened there. So you call the police to say, SDP has a petition with you. Have you invited him out or not? Police may decide to answer you. Okay. But with respect to the NWC, you were at their press conference. Yeah. And they said to your face that we have expelled this person and they took questions.
Yeah.
All the questions you have to ask them, you should have asked them there, because I'm not a member of NWC. Left to me, if they consulted me personally, because they know I'm biased towards Gabam, I will say, oh, please, what can we do? But I'm not a member of NWC. And Gabam has presided over the NWC, knows the NWC thoroughly. He, until this remover, was their leader. He knows all of them one by one. So, and he himself has served on the NWC before when they expelled Jerry Ghana. Jerry Ghana contested for president in 2019 against Donald Duke. Shehu Gabam was the secretary. And those who know the history of the party will tell you that Shehu Gabam and Jerry Ghana came together to the party. And that actually, Jerry Ghana was one who negotiated to the point where Shehu Gabam was made national secretary. But Shehu Gabam, being a strict person, he's a strict constitutionalist, if you know him. He follows the process. He's a process person. He will always tell you, friendship is one thing, institution should be protected. So he was sitting there when Jerry Ghana was expelled. He was secretary, he took note, and he published the expulsion of Jerry Ghana. He also was the running mate to Donald Duke. Donald Duke was the candidate fielded, but Jerry Ghana went all the way to Supreme Court over the matter. But the person Donald Duke chose to be his running mate was Shehu Gabam. And Shehu Gabam was secretary, national secretary, announcing the expulsion of Donald Duke, which shows that...
Of Jerry Ghana.
Both Jerry Ghana and Donald Duke.
Okay.
Because the party passed a resolution that they must resolve their dispute within the party framework. But they didn't, according to the NWC members, they said they didn't obey, so they expelled them. What I'm letting you know is that there's nothing emotional. Shehu Gabam knows the expulsion process. He was also the chairman, though he was on suspension, when Governor El-Rufai was expelled by the party. So what I'm bringing out is that he is an expert. He knows what to do. And anybody who has dissatisfaction with the decision of NWC knows that NWC has a supervisory body called the NEC. So I don't think Jerry Gabam needs my advice one way or the other. He's my friend. If he needs my advice in private, I will give it to him. And he's still my friend up to today. And I like him. I have nothing against him. And I do not think that because he has a problem with the party, I will now be criticizing him. No. But he knows that if he was in my shoes and the NWC takes a decision, he will have to comply with it. So as far as I'm concerned, pending the time when the NEC or some higher body will reverse the NWC, he is no longer the chairman. Abubakar Sadiq Gombe, Professor Abubakar Sadiq Gombe is now, who was his deputy, is now the chairman, acting chairman pending that time. And what I can do as an elder in the party is what I'm doing, which is to try to bring cooler heads. But any political party that specializes, like we have become one, in criticizing President Tinubu, every step of Tinubu, you will see us criticizing him. When Tinubu fired Betta Edu, we criticize him. We say he himself should be questioned as to his sense of judgment. Recently, the Minister of State for Science and Tech, for problems that are personal to him, we were putting pressure on the president to say, you have appointed this minister without checking his credentials. So if we are critical of the government like that, and we are not able to look inwards, to look into our own affairs, then we should be called the hypocrite party of Nigeria. So what you should, instead of saying crisis, which is just editorial rascality to say that, because the real crisis will be if you are hearing rumor that SDP stinks, that the membership money is being stolen, that the accounts are not in order, and you ask us, and we are papering over it, we are covering it, we say, no, we are the best party, nothing like that's happening in our party. That's when you should be saying that there's crisis. But when you raise the issue, in the interviews I have seen, Shehu Gabam has not said that there's no investigation. He himself said the matter is pending with the police. So he knows that there's something pending. And the party set up that committee. Now, the record of the committee, if you read it, I assume you will have read it, otherwise you won't be questioning me.
Of course.
Okay, so you will see that that committee stated their invitation process, who they invited, attached evidence of invitation and all of that. But I cannot come out in the open and be an advocate for the committee. I'm not a member. The party has its national officers. I'm not one of them. The party has zonal officers. I'm not one of them. The party has state officers. I'm not one of them. 3 days ago or 2 days ago, I was in Ondo. They were holding ward meeting in my ward. I'm not a ward executive. I was sitting on the floor, and the ward executive was on the high table. I attended the meeting. So I don't speak for the party. I speak for my idea of the manifesto of the party. I don't have no authority to speak for the party on the management of the party. So the people who are vested with that authority, who are Shehu Gabam's colleagues, have come to the conclusion that they needed to sanction him. He has two options: to accept it or not accept it. So far, he hasn't accepted it. And by not accepting it, he knows what he needs to do if he wants to reverse it. There are processes to reverse that decision. So I cannot now say, oh, he should have accepted it. I can't say so. It is right. I don't know if he must have legal advice. He's a well-resourced person. So he may have legal advice. His lawyers may say, don't accept. Remember that of recent, there are people charged to court for treason, high serious felony or serious offenses. And instead of entering defense, they told the court, I don't believe in you. You have no jurisdiction over me. Is their right? The judge did not say take you to prison for that. No. If you are before any institutional or organizational authority in Nigeria, as far as our constitution is concerned, once they accuse you, you have the right to challenge their jurisdiction, challenge their composition, challenge the process by which they invited you there, challenge their deliberation, because we have Chapter 4 of the Constitution that deals with fundamental human rights. And Shehu Gabam has the right to due process, right to presumption of innocence, right to fair hearing. So if he's challenging the sanction along those lines, he's acting in the true spirit of SDP, because we're a legal, legitimate, law-abiding party. But his personal opinion as to the legality or not cannot determine the outcome. He will have to go before a body higher than that NWC, or go back to that same NWC to go and make his case. Even if I come advocate for him here, it will make no difference. Either he goes to court, which he knows about that, if he hasn't done that, or he goes back to the same NWC, or he goes higher and says, when there's next meeting, I will send a petition to the neck of the party. So there's no crisis of any sort.
Okay, I'll still go back to something that, I think it was on Saturday, there was also a press conference to counter what happened, to counter the press conference that happened at the national headquarters. And I remember that, even though I didn't attend, but TVC sent a cameraman there. And I think I saw it on TV, where the woman in question who had the banner at the back of SDP, and he was one of the executives at the time. I can't remember. I'm trying to remember her name. If you don't remember
her name, forget about it.
Go to next. She's along.
Go to things you can remember.
No, but she's along with the Gabam people. That's why I wanted.
Who are Gabam people?
No, so I needed to place that part. So this is where I'm going. In that report, they said you also has been expelled.
No, listen, let me tell you something clear.
Okay.
The Gabam people. I'm the leader of the Gabam people.
Okay.
Gabam is the leader of my party. The fact that he's undergoing personal trials and he's been expelled or whatever doesn't mean I don't know him.
Okay.
Gabam has no other person other than the NWC which suspended him. Gabam was, until that removal, the leader of the party. If you go to INEC now, it is still Gabam's name you are going to see there. So there is no other thing. The office of the party is number 17, Nairobi Street, Wuse to Abuja. There's no other office anywhere. So we have the executive elected 2022. Their tenure is supposed to expire in 2026. So they still have to June 2026. Any other comedy show be organized anywhere, we don't know any about that. We can't comment on that. What I can tell you is that when you are dealing with the SDP, just like when I'm dealing with TVC, I go to your studio. If a roaming cameraman somewhere meets me under the tree, mango tree, and say he has expelled the MD of TVC, I don't take that seriously. So I can get two people now and they say they have expelled Nantan, we are chairman of APC. It's not relevant. What you need to know is that political party is a constitutional creation. Their registration, you can see these people want to register new parties now. You can see what they are going through. They are going through rigorous process of renting offices, publishing the name of their executives, taking it to INEC going through vetting it. A political party is not a ghost operation. And a serious media house, I don't determine what your editors consider to be serious, but if they tell you that there is a press conference called by a deputy governor or a director in central bank, and they are taking you to Amala Joint to go and do not to call a monetary policy, and you as a reporter don't know that you're wasting your time there, then it is your choice. It is more of a reflection of your editorial quality than of any other thing, because political parties are all gazetted, they are all known. Political party contest election, you see the people who sign the signatures. Political party have published offices. You cannot even change that office. Even your state office, you cannot change it because the INEC has a state office where the resident electoral commissioner has to know of your office. So there's nothing mysterious about a political party. So let us keep it serious. Let us know what we are talking about. And the issue within the SDP is very simple. The party has two choices. It's like Robert Frost, the road less taken. If you remember that poem, you get to a junction. You either take the popular road or the road less taken. And the popular road in Nigeria now, unfortunately, is popular road of unaccountability, fraud, covering things up without regard for institutions. The road less taken, which is the road SDP wants to take, is the road of accountability. If you are taking any office, you must be accountable. And Shehu Musa Gabam, in any gathering, will be the first person to remind you that nobody is bigger than an institution and nobody is above sanction. So, and I don't think that all he's doing now is contrary to the spirit of SDP. It's just, he's speaking out for himself. And he needs to preserve himself. He needs to preserve his own image. He needs to give accountability. He's a well-known person in the country. And he needs to defend himself to the best of his ability. So if he's doing that, nobody in the National Working Committee has a reason to have a malice against him. If he goes to the media to explain to the media what happened, it is now the quality of the media, whether they will ask him relevant questions, whether they will confront him with evidence, and whether they want to make comic shows out of it and be laughing and say, oh, there's crisis everywhere. But for the party, it wasn't done to generate crisis. It was done to ensure that this party is not seen by Nigerians as a joker, as a party of hypocrites, as a party that cannot govern its own processes. And I believe that if you go to a PDP, they are whispering there that their money is missing, they have problem. APC, you go anywhere. If a party decides to cover it their own, that's their choice. But in SDP, given our moral high ground that we have climbed onto, given how smooth our mouth is when it comes to criticizing government, we need not to have a skeleton in our cupboard. And that is what we are trying to do.
I'm going to ask this question. Do you think that the entrance, before he was expelled, that's former governor of Kaduna, do you think that his entrance into your party caused a crack when he came into the party before he was finally expelled? Do you think that?
No, I see, what I can see is that if you are talking of my elder brother, Governor Nasir El-Rufai, we ourselves, we have a bit of inexperience. And everybody...
When you say we ourselves, you mean the SDP?
SDP.
Okay.
Because when you are young, new to something, you are excited. When we heard that he was coming to our party...
SDP is not young.
No, if you look at especially those of us who are now making decisions in the party.
Okay, right.
And we are new politicians. Okay. We are the new breed without the greed. Okay. Now, when we see El-Rufai from the point of view of the quality of his intellect, his energy to work, and we thought that, okay, someone like this would be a plus for the party. And you must have seen my interview, which I granted in Kaduna the day he joined the SDP. And we thought that coming in, the energy would propel the party forward. And many people also joined, not only him, but he appears to be the person that the media is highly interested in him. Now, in the process, certain weak points that we didn't see, it's just like a chair, like this chair I'm sitting on. It may have a crack, you don't know. But when somebody of the heavy weight sits on it, that latent hidden crack will make the chair to collapse. Yeah. So you can say, oh, this person broke our chair. But in reality, that chair has been weak. Okay. It's just because somebody of heavy weight has not sat on it. Okay. So when he came, he was also entangled in so many other things that the party wasn't involved in. As at the time he came to the party, he was also part of the so-called coalition. Yeah. And SDP, we are ideologically opposed to these coalition people. We don't like them. We don't like the methodologies. We don't like the ideas. We don't care for them. And their way of operating irritated us mightily. We didn't like them. And the interaction we're having with them even confirmed that we wasted our time even talking to them. But he was
when you say even talking to them, was there at any point they have
interactions with National Working Committee.
Oh, okay.
And they also had interaction with someone like me, different people. And even though...
They wanted you to come over to the party?
No, they were coming to us.
Okay.
To join the SDP.
To adopt SDP?
SDP. Oh, okay. But it's like you are going to a mosque. You tell the chief imam of a mosque, we are Hare Krishna. We are coming to your mosque. We are taking over the mosque. You don't want to become a Muslim, but you want to cover the mosque. He's going to look at you like, what's wrong with you? It's like you go to a church, Catholic church, and you are Ekanka or whatever other religion, Hindus. Just enter the Catholic church and say, oh, we need this altar, it's very fine. Now this is Hindu church of... They're not going to listen to you. Yeah. So if you are going to come to the SDP, you must be interested in the SDP. Not just the certificate that SDP has with INEC. So, and then you must have seen what we are doing. You don't have to agree with all of it, but you must see what we are doing and how you want to come and add to what we are doing. Improve it. So, you're not interested. You're just interested in, we need a party. So, we felt insulted. And then we asked them certain questions, they couldn't answer the questions. So, we just said, bye-bye, thank you, go away. But I think, given how dogged El-Rufai is, he continued to work on it. And we kept saying, we are not part of this thing. But he will go there and say, I'm SDP, and he's still part of them. So that annoyed many people in the party.
Did he annoy you?
I know. It didn't annoy me because I was able to communicate fairly. But it worried me that you will have a coalition with the party because SDP members have a deceptive look. They have extreme humility. So if you come to them with a high profile, you will assume that they are going to just be following what you are saying. but they have deep experience because those who started the party are deep intellectuals. El-Rufai, I'm talking when we came now, not the first one. The first one are solid people as well. Yaradua, Falai, Abiola, and all of that. Sheikh Musa Yaradua. The party has solid people. Baba Gana Kingibe. So the party has always been a party of solid people. Even our president today, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, in his own innocent days, he was in that.
What do you mean by his innocent?
Well, yes, when he was.
Is he not innocent anymore?
No. He's now he has joined the other side. So now, when he still, I believe, care for the people, who was a social democrat, you need to see him following Abiola and talking about farewell to poverty. Not you wouldn't imagine that he will come and increase poverty like this. The Bola Ahmed Tinubu that was in SDP, no way. So now, when the party was now restarted, Chief Falai, party told me, these are not frivolous people. Deep thinkers. Now Professor Gombe, who is now our acting chairman, he was the acting secretary, he was secretary at that time. So this party is used to solid people. So even our national secretary is everything you want to be in government and in the academia. First class geophysicist, best student IMT in Massachusetts, best student Stanford University in California. So there is nothing you were looking for in leadership you won't find in the SDP.
It looks like an idealistic
kind of party. So when you come to the party and we welcome you, we respect you, you can assume that because I'm driving into the party with a convoy of limousines and the person I'm discussing with is taking an Uber to go home, that is going to be admiring you. It's not. He's judging you by the intellectual content of what you are bringing. And if they see that you are intellectually shallow or morally bankrupt or deficient, they will dispense with you. So when I saw the way it was going and conversation was going and I was observing meetings and people were talking about we're going to bring money to the party, I started to say, oh, this is a train wreck about to happen. Because SDP doesn't care if you're bringing money to the party. They care about you bringing personality, bringing intellect, bringing credibility. Money they don't really worry too much about money. So when I see all of that, and they don't also care about position. So you can say, I've been governor 3 times, I've been this and that 10 times. The SDP man doesn't care. If he's the ward chairman, like I go to my ward, I ran for president, they supported me, but if I go to my ward, I can't speak out of turn. They'll say, Mr. President, it's not your turn, can you sit down there? That we are used to that. We are used to challenging. So the national secretary is 77 years old. But you will see youth leader, you will say, objection, national secretary, sit down, cannot do that. So we are used to system like that. But those who came from this party, APC, PDP, where a governor will sit down and call the NWC, come to my house, they all will be in the waiting room. The SDP can't do that. Shehu Gabam will not go to the house of anybody. You either meet him in the office or you go and see him in his house as national chairman. He will tell you, why will I? But when he was national chairman, when he was national secretary, yes, he will go everywhere. But immediately became national chairman, everybody knew that. So everybody respects their office. Our national woman leader, you won't find her name on the Forbes list. But if you go to her and say, I'm going to give you $500,000, that decision go and reverse, he will wash you down and tell you, what kind of rubbish is this? What kind of money is this? When I was schooling in England all those years, your father was in the village. I don't need your money. It will lash you. So that is what I see in the party. That everything you do, even if you do SDP a favor, they will criticize it. If you supply something, they'll say, that's not the true logo of the party. Go and correct it. They are very strict like that. So when I saw the interaction that, okay, these people who are coming from any highness, when they come into this SDP, there will be trouble. And that's what happened. And others quickly step back. There are not only Governor El-Rufai, many eminent people who came and they saw our attitude. They realized, oh, these guys are tough and they are very strict. So they left. But some are more stubborn than the others. So they say, okay, I will bend them, I will do this. So when they couldn't do much at the national level, they thought that, okay, they could go to the lower level and use the lower level people
to score 2 things.
To kind of put pressure on the national leadership to go the way. So, and the national leadership will say, come forward. What are your ideas? So when you send subordinates to go and question the NWC. By the time the NWC interacts with them and they exchange ideas, they will turn against you who send them because they will see that, okay, the NWC is actually doing the right thing. So that's what led to all of that. So it doesn't mean that in future we cannot, as opposition, cooperate, but it cannot be a conspiracy against Tinubu. I am not involved or interested in conspiracy against Tinubu. I'm interested in ideological convergence for us to discuss what are the things wrong with our president. They cannot all be bad. They cannot all be deficient. They cannot all be criminals. How come Tinubu is failing, you are all shouting? Jonathan Buhari, with all the noise and hype, failed. Jonathan was left with a failure. We couldn't really get the potential of Yar'Adua. Obasanjo, with his experience in military and life and the 8 years he spent, when he was going, people were going to read editorials. Nobody said, oh, he has changed a lot in the country. Under him, we lost NEPA, we lost Nigeria Airways, we lost many of the national institutions that we built over time, and they were privatized and sold, and nothing's come out of that. So the objective of power, which Obasanjo invested a lot of money, he didn't enjoy the power of electricity by the time he left. So you need to find out that all these people cannot be bad people. And when you interact with them individually, they are fantastic people. If you interact with President Bola Ahmed Tinubu as Bola Ahmed Tinubu, it's an intellect. He has ideas. So why is he down there 2 years plus? He can't even recognize his own face in the mirror. So if you listen to how they hype Buhari, say Buhari is going to fight corruption. Buhari was even stinking towards the end. So we need to find out. And that is because we are not following Chapter 2 of our Constitution. If you are playing soccer or football and you don't follow FIFA rules, the goalkeeper doesn't stand inside the post. There's no offside. The ball goes out of play. There's nobody blowing the whistle. You continue to play even in the stand. This anyhowness is the reason why the leaders have not been performing. Where you can write the budget the way you like, according to your friends. Whereas Chapter 2 of the Constitution, the fundamental objective and directive principle of state policy, has told us on how to write constitution, how to write the budget, how to allocate government offices, how to manage the economy so that the commanding heights of the economy will not be in the hand of a few. All this guidance, which we arrived at in 1977 at the Constitutional Assembly, and we incorporated into our Constitution, and every president, every governor, every minister, every public official who takes oath of office will say, after the oath of allegiance, will also say, I will observe and abide by fundamental objectives and directive principle contained in Chapter 2 of the Constitution. So when we don't follow that, that's where the problem lies. And this is the interaction which can now lead to an opposition. If we can get consensus before 2027 around that, the SDP will be happy. If you don't get it before 2027, 2027 will waste again. We'll continue to work until we get that consensus, because once you get that consensus, any government you put in place will work for the Nigerian people, because Nigeria lacks nothing that should make the country to work. We are making money. And you can see that even now, President Tinubu is the first to be honest on the issue of we are making more money now. Prior to him, everybody will say, hey, the government is broke. This is the first time that not say government is broke. Or governors, minister, president, all of them say we have money. But because they are misapplying the money, because they are trying to run around complying with the Constitution. So they write anyhow budgets, they do anyhow expenditure, they organize themselves in a disorganized way. The benefits is not percolating to the people. So President Tinubu is doing some things which benefit, if it's uninterrupted, will happen in 14 years. Rather doing things which the benefit will happen in 14 months. And these are ideological issues. And these are things we can disagree about. So if I disagree with Tinubu about something, and you have even a worse iteration of that same thing, why will I be in cooperation with you because both of us are jobless. We are both without our work. We are both in opposition. We're both unemployed. So we will not conspire together. No. I will carry my unemployment to somewhere else.
Okay.
You carry your unemployment to somewhere else. So it's only people who I know I can run a government with, I'm going to do politics with.
Okay, so I'm going to ask you two questions as we round up. One is, you spoke about the people who came to the SDP. The way you described them made me want to ask that question. Are you saying that they are intellectually bankrupt, or they are morally inefficient? How did you put it?
Whatever intellectualism they have, whatever morality they have suspended those when dealing with politics.
Okay.
So they can have morality, but they have suspended morality. They can have intellectualism, but they have suspended morality because intellectualism. Why? Because some people believe that politics is a game of anyhow. That you have to grab it, snatch it, run away with it, and that there's no rule. There are no rules. The end justifies the means. So, in normal life, if your child lied to you, you would be heartbroken, and you will put that child aright. If at my age, I tell my mother is now 80 this year, if I tell my mother that I'm coming home to Ondo, if I don't come and I don't call her, she's going to discipline me. Because why would you lie to me? So, but in politics, these things we are taught at home.
You drop it.
We drop it and say it's just politics now. So if you go to buy land from somebody for 100 million naira and they give you a fake certificate of occupancy, you will go to the police. But in politics, if you give 100 million to somebody to go and print posters, and they will be eating money. They will not even print the poster. You say, it's politics now. If you declare a false result in politics, it's politics now. It's not. We need to stop it.
Okay.
And these people who haven't come to this epiphany, who haven't come to the realization that politics is not an excuse for rascality, for criminality, for a lack of integrity, and that until we use those things that our parents and grandparents told us, until we use those basic virtues in politics, we will be in the wilderness forever. And we cannot afford to be in the wilderness forever because people are dying, poverty is rising, and the world is changing to the point that even our people who want to run away, the whole world now is hostile to people running to their place. So we need to sit down at home, have our best people in politics, and have our best politics in governance.
Okay. My last question has to do with, it has two legs. What do you think that this government is doing that you think that is not getting right? Or what do you think that they are getting right, but is not having a ripple effect on the economy, trickling down on the people? Secondly, that's why I say it had two legs. Secondly, do you believe in the sharing formula of, when I say sharing formula, the North versus the South in terms of power sharing? Do you believe it? If you believe in it, if, for example, President Tinubu is not being re-elected 2027 and it goes to the North, do you believe in it?
Okay, number one, the problem of President Tinubu's government is just two problems. Mindset. They don't behave like a government. They behave like a campaign organization. So it's like before the match starts, any football match, FIFA, World Cup, whatever, you will see ball jugglers, they will be juggling ball. Yeah. People, hey. That's not part of the game. Once the game starts, ball juggling stops.
So you mean that's what this government is doing?
They are actually doing ball juggling, entertaining themselves and wasting everybody's time and trying to get this governor from here to come here. You need to pivot from a campaign organization into the mindset of a government. And to be in government, you need to be thorough, you need to be cool, you need to attract the best possible talent. And if you are the leader of that government, you need to be sure of yourself that you can be a chief executive. You can actually pay attention You will be gallivanting and get your supervise your people very well. As you can see recently, let me give you, leave economy. You can say economy is complicated. Look at simple thing like exercise or prerogative of mercy. Pardon. It doesn't cost money. It's not that the budget is weak. It's not like you need, it's not complicated. It's poor supervision. And not knowing the purport of that thing, that the fact that I've been given the power to pardon people doesn't mean I don't have a responsibility to make the process thorough. So, and you can see, I'm happy that they are reacting or they are responding to the criticism. They need to do more of that. That's the mindset. They're not behaving like a government. If you see them, there's nothing about them that looks like a government. So, second problem that they have is the lack sense of timing. A government doesn't have everlasting life. So, there are certain things you would do. And I gave an analogy recently. If you came home from a travel and you found out that your relatives are naked outside your gate, they are naked. You don't say, oh, okay, I now know what to do. I will set up a textile factory to clothe all these my relatives. Because the timeline for you to go to CAC, incorporate the company, set up a factory, you gone. Even the agbada you are wearing, you use it to wrap them. You do emergency. So you cannot say that these ideas, some of the things you are doing, they will work normally if there's time. Because almost every government policy, however wrong-headed, will work sometime. Yeah. But the emergency of the day, so you can't go into the emergency room and they tell you, doctor, there's a patient here, 45 years old, in a bike accident, he's bleeding. You say, oh, okay. Now we need to now put more medical students in the university to learn accident management. It won't save that guy's life. Yeah. So you need that sense of timing. And they are assuming that there is an 8-year term. There is nothing. And that is what happens to your next question. There is no 8-year term anywhere. There's a 4-year term. If you do well, if you are lucky, you can come back again. But there's nobody who owes you. Every discussion about presidency must be a 4-year term, unless you amend the Constitution, which means that whatever you want to achieve,
you must achieve
with that. You can leave a handover note for the next guy. But you cannot be telling me, no, you have to tell me, this is the amount of money that I'm going to generate in my 4 years. These are the things I will achieve in 4 years. By the time I'm leaving, I will leave something for the next guy coming. But don't give me anything longer than that. Because there's a national plan that is trans-administrational. It goes from one administration to the other. Even our first national development plan, 1960 to 1965. So we have development plan. We have things we want to do. There are roads designed by Femi Okuno when he was Minister of Works under Gawan that have not been built now. This East-West road that the President Tinubu is building has been designed since that time. So you don't disturb yourself. Do the road. If you know Lagos-Calabar road will take 12 years. And in 4 years, I will get to Ibokoda. Plan on that. The next guy takes over from that. But the hungry people who are going to die under your administration will not wake up in 15 years' time when your plan has come to fruition. After all, President Tinubu did not start Dangote refinery. He started from the end of Obasanjo's administration through Yar'Adua, then Jonathan, then Buhari. But because it's a private sector project, they continue. After all, Balewa started Jakuta. So they don't understand governance. That's my problem with them. There's nothing complicated. It's that I'm just thinking that you have 4 years. What happens? If you are not serious, you're not picking things up, you're not accountable for the 4 years, and when we try to tell you low-hanging fruits, things you can do immediately, you will say, no, you don't want to do it. And at the end of the day, a child that is in medical school, where you came, will almost be graduating while you finish your 4-year term. If he has poor education, disrupted education, also is on strike, whatever happens subsequently is not going to save that person. So that's it. So as for North, South, whatever, what I believe is this, that Nigeria is a diverse country. And anything you do to help diversity is important. But you must not sacrifice merit. So a time may come when we will say, oh, We have been producing only men as president.
Yeah.
Let us produce a female president. But it cannot be the main objective. You want to rotate from north to south, I'm not against it. But the core challenge, poverty, insecurity, and unaccountability, they must be the thing we want to discuss now. And every government will rise and fall based on their performance, not where the leadership of that government comes from. So if President Tinubu is coming to, I'm going to challenge him, God preserve him alive, in 2027, I'm going to challenge him mightily. If he wants to run on his record, I'm up for the game. If another person challenges him and the Nigerian people vote for that person, I'm up for it. But I believe that we stand the best chance to challenge him on the core issues that affect the people, without all these other over-litigated issues that have nothing to do with the welfare of the people. With all these legacy issues and all of that, we're not interested. What we are interested in is that right now, everything points towards good governance. Technology, the state of the economy, the world is getting flatter. There's more information. There are more competencies now to leapfrog into technology, using it to solve all your problems. If you had a weak armed forces before, there are tools and techniques that young people can generate inside your country that will make your country more resilient, able to tackle insecurity. And you are not using any of those modern tools. You are still behaving as if we were 1940. Those are the reasons why I'm opposed to President Tinubu. He has not offended me personally. I don't know him personally. I've not had any personal transaction with him that turned positive or negative. I judge every government right from 1999. I judge them by the same metric. If you go back to old criticism of Obasanjo, you will see that they mirror my criticism of Tinubu now. If you look at my criticism of Buhari, when they brought Buhari, and I was just looking at, do they know what they're talking about at all? Buhari is not the president for the modern time. And I criticized him, and while he was there, I criticized him. He will see me, he will greet me, Prince, how are you? But I criticize, it's the same principle. We must make government work. It is becoming risky. It is better to have HIV than to have bad government. Because if you have HIV and you have good government, you can survive. But if you have bad government and you say you are healthy, you can die suddenly, the road will kill you, lack of food will kill you, poisoning food will kill you, war will kill you. A government must be competent, because in modern time, you can buy yourself any car you want. You can buy yourself any house you want. But what you cannot buy good governance.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate your time on the podcast. Really hope that some of the things that you said, of course, we'll call the other side to come and say their own story.
The other side is Tinubu. You can call him to come and say his own side of the story, because I didn't speak about any other person.
Okay.
So, and I thank you for inviting me.
Thank you.
God bless Nigeria.
Thank you so much. So that's how we end the show for this week episode of Speak Your Truth. We'll bring you another episode, interesting one. Remember, 2 years is less than maybe 15 months, and Nigeria is going to the poll. By November 8th, Anambra will elect another governor to the House. But one of the most important things is that the people must be able to exercise their franchise without any settle or whatsoever. Thank you very much once again. My name is Ademola Lawrence. I see you next week.